Well, the Boys Club was a very welcoming, safe environment that allowed really each boy to kind of pursue his dreams and his goals.
A place to go to when mom and dad had to go to work, and by attending the Boys and Girls Club, I learned a lot of lifelong skills.
My name is Ernisha, and I want to be a teacher when I grow up. The Boys and Girls Club taught me to do whatever I want to do when I grow up.
I think that the most important thing you can do is decide what you want to do and work as hard as you can to do it. When I was a little girl, I played make-believe with my sister, and I was a judge and she was the President of the United States. Some 40 years later, I got appointed by President Obama and confirmed by the Senate, and I'm now a United States Court District Judge.
My name is Kenya. When I grow up, I want to be a lawyer so I can help other people earn their rights and freedoms, so other people won't harass them because of their skin tone or personality.
My name is Benjamin Toole. I'm a pediatric cardiologist. I wanted to be a doctor for as long as I can remember, but I've always really enjoyed being with kids, and when I got into medical school, knew what I wanted to become. I've worked at the Boys and Girls Club when I was a high school student, and I can tell you firsthand that Boys and Girls Club offers so many things to our young people.
My name is Bakara Kegley, and I want to be a doctor. I like helping people get well and better. I like people that be healthy and strong.
The Boys and Girls Club
Supports young people.
Because
we believe
that
every child deserves a great future.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dontravius Simmons. I serve as the Director of Teen Services for the Boys and Girls Club of Albany, Georgia. And today I'm so excited for you all to join us today for our for our historical Black College and University series that we've been covering for Black History Month. We thought it not robbery to add on a Black legal edition featuring some of Georgia's top lawyers, judges, and just criminal justice professors. And so today on our panel, we have some of the most amazing people, such as Mr. James Pratt, who is a criminal justice professor at the unsinkable Albany State University. And we're shout out to all of you all that are listening and tuning in today. I don't want to spill everybody's title and what they're going to do. We're going to give an opportunity for them to introduce themselves and listen. We have Miss D. Nicole Williams, who is an attorney. Miss Jasmine Robinson, an attorney as well. Miss Gloria Anderson, who is a courtroom deputy. I'm so excited to hear what all her job title consists of. And we also have Mr. Morph, who is an assistant district attorney. And we also have a young lady who I've looked up to and admired so much in her career in this role of legal work, Judge Darrisaw. And so today they're coming on and share their experiences of working in the legal field. And again, it's Black History Month, so we're going to honor and celebrate them in remembering people like Thurgood Marshall, remembering court cases like the Brown versus Brown education lawsuit. And so remembering all of these historic moments in our history and really understanding that these people are standing on the shoulders of some great and amazing people in the legal field. So joining me today in the interview world and panel, it's going to be Mr. Shamar Lane, who is a teen here at the Boys and Girls Club. We like to call him around here our media guru. And so he's going to be joining us today interview. And so I'm going to bring our panel guests up and allow them to introduce themselves. And so I'm going to first start off with Mr. James Pratt.
Hey everybody, so glad to be here as a Boys and Girls Club alum. It's so happy to be back in this space and to share this space with some great minds. My name is James Pratt Jr. I'm a professor in the Department of Criminal Justice at Albany State, and I also study why people get into fights, why people commit violent acts, and how we can create safer communities. So I look forward to talking about a little bit of my work and what I do and interacting with some great folks on this panel. Thank you so much for inviting me, Dontravius.
Hey, no problem. Thank you so much. And next on our screen is Miss D. Nicole Williams.
Hi, my name is Nicole Williams. I am a criminal defense lawyer. Primarily, I am a solo practitioner here in Albany, and I have an office downtown in the post office. With my job, I generally represent individuals that have been charged with felonies, misdemeanors. I even represent juveniles in juvenile court. So it just kind of depends. I represent individuals in state court and in federal court.
Wow, wow. And next on our list is Miss Jasmine Robinson.
Hey everyone, it's Attorney Jazz here, and I just want to share that 5% of lawyers are Black, but I have dedicated my life to increasing the number of lawyers that are Black here in the United States. I have a law firm that specializes in entrepreneurship law, but more importantly, I work with future lawyers such as the future lawyers at the Boys and Girls Club of Albany. I heard a young guy say he wanted to be a lawyer, and I would love to talk with him about what it takes to become a lawyer. You know, we've done over $2 million in law school scholarships for our future lawyers, and we're growing every single day. I'm just happy to be here, happy to just do whatever I can to help out, and thank you for the opportunity.
Hey, thank you so much for agreeing. Now we are bringing on Judge Darrisaw.
Good evening or good afternoon or good morning, whatever the time you're watching this. My name is Victoria Darrisaw, and it is my great honor and pleasure to serve on Superior Court here in Douglas County. And I've been in this particular position since 2018. And I've seen great changes. So I'm very excited and elated to be here. And if there's anything that I can help you all with, please let me know.
Okay, can you hear me? I couldn't hear you. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear the young man. My name is Gloria Anderson. I'm a courtroom deputy for the U.S. District Courts. I've actually been working there almost 2 years, but I have worked in many of the courts. I worked for Georgia Superior Court. I worked for the Court of Appeals. I worked for the Magistrate Court. So that's basically what I have done most of my younger days. So it's truly a pleasure and an honor to be among such fine individuals, the judges, lawyers. Truly, it's a blessing and an honor to be a part of this. And I'm looking forward to giving whatever information that's asked and hope that it will benefit and help someone. So I am so elated to be here tonight. And thank you for the invite.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to bring on Mr. Morphy. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Maruf.
Maruf.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Maruf Hosseini. I'm an assistant district attorney with the South Georgia District Attorney's Office. We have 5 counties under my office jurisdiction, and I've been working with that office since, I would say, March of 2013. Well, officially from June of 2013, but started there as a paid intern in March of 2013, and I've been there ever since then. I've prosecuted juvenile cases. I presently prosecute welfare fraud cases, asset forfeiture cases. 90% of the appellate cases in my office, and I oversee the drug treatment court for my office. I also prosecute domestic violence cases, and I'm so excited to be here and to share my little experience with you.
Hey, we thank you so much. And for my co-host for today, Mr. Shamar.
Good evening, everyone. And again, before we get started, I want to thank you all for being a part of our panel today. Criminal justice is something that's very important to me. I'm fascinated by the criminal justice and law field, so I'm going to learn a lot today. And Mr. Simmons, if can we get started with the interview?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my first question is to Mr. Pratt. What do you find most challenging about your job?
What do I find most challenging about my job? So the most challenging thing is the number of questions I have to find answers to, right? As a professor, what I do is do research to figure out with some of these people on the panel, what they do in their jobs, how they may or may not be effective or ineffective, and how we can improve what we mean by public safety and what we mean by justice. So I have to answer some really tough questions around what does it mean to have a just society? What does it mean to reduce violence and some of those things? So that's the hardest part about my job, asking hard questions and trying to find hard answers.
Thank you. And I do live in Albany, so I might have to ask you some questions as well.
I'll answer them the best I can.
Thank you. And so my next question goes to Judge Darrisaw. I think I'm saying that correctly. How would you describe a typical workday?
I would say there is really no typical workday because every case is unique and different. But I will say that there is a schedule. There's a typical schedule. And my schedule is broken out by the week. So on Mondays and Wednesdays, I address civil matters like divorces or disputes over contracts or titles to land, that sort of thing. And then on Tuesday, Thursdays, and some Fridays, I address criminal matters. Thursday is primarily dedicated to the treatment court program. I run the mental health substance abuse treatment court program here in Dougherty County. And so Thursdays is the day that is most dedicated to that particular program. So, and on Fridays, we'll do bond hearings and pleas potentially, but that's a typical week. And I promise you, it is full.
Thank you. My next question goes to Ms. Robinson. And my question is, how did you get into the field and what keeps you in the field? We can't hear you, Ms. Robinson.
Uh-oh. You can't hear me?
We can now.
You can?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I wanna tell my mama to forgive me because she's watching right now. So what brought me into the field is my crazy family. Everyone in my family has been divorced at least once, at least some twice. Some have even had some third goes at that thing. And you know, I remember like my aunt and my uncle going through their whole situation, and I just had a great opinion. My mom would be like, girl, stay in your place, stay in the child's place, you know. But that really just I had this like passion, you know, I really wanted to help my aunt, and that led to me wanting to be a big divorce lawyer. And several years later, I'm not doing divorce work, but I'm happy for the revelation because it's what got me to law school.
Thank you. And that's a very unique story because we all have a story to how we do what we do. My next question is to Miss Nicole Williams. And my question is, what do you find most enjoyable about your job?
I guess the most enjoyable part of my job is being able to help people, because truly when you find yourself in a situation where when you're being accused of a crime, when your freedom is at risk, you are at your most vulnerable. And that's when you really need someone that is willing to work on your behalf, that is willing to be compassionate and non-judgmental. And so far, I enjoy doing that work. At some point, I might not, but right now, I still have a passion for that work.
Thank you. Thank you. My next question is to Ms. Anderson. And my question is, is the job you have require lifestyle changes such as late night business or frequent travel? We can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Um, Basically, I do not do a lot of traveling unless we try cases in Valdosta, which we have not done that yet. But I do work late because sometimes, things pile up, things come. Um, we may have hearings that may go over. You have long-winded lawyers and those type things, which is truly is a pleasure though, because it doesn't bother me. I love making sure things are done because my job consists of getting things done. So when the judge gets in the courtroom, he don't have to worry about anything but just, to go with it. So I have to make sure everything is in place, make sure the lawyers are on their post, doing what they're supposed to do. So I really love what I do, but I don't do a whole lot of traveling, but there are some late evenings.
Thank you, and that's probably something I will have to get used to if I go in the criminal justice field, because I do love to sleep late. My next question is to Mr. Maroof, and my question is: are there any negatives to your job?
Of course, there is. Number one, being a prosecutor, you are now one of the most popular human beings around. So wherever you go, you tend to kind of be security conscious. You look at somebody who is looking at you, and you're wondering if you guys have had a negative encounter in court before, and so yes, that's the negative.
Thank you. Mr. Pratt, I have another question for you. With the criminal justice field and the job there, we need more jobs because crime is getting broader and there are more crimes happening and they're being committed different ways. So are there too many or too few people in this profession?
So that's a trick question because as is, I think we have a lot of people in the field of the criminal justice field. I think there's a lot of folks working in the field. But I think for your generation and future generations, we need more people in diverse areas in the field. We need to create new jobs in criminal justice and redefine what public safety looks like. This past year, you see a whole movement about the police and Black Lives Matter and all these kind of things. And that is a demonstration of how imaginative we can be about the future of justice, the future of criminal justice, and what jobs can fill those roles, like social workers that may be trained to reduce violence in certain ways, or psychologists that can kind of bridge the gap between the law enforcement and the community. So I think we can open up the doors for a lot more people. But as is, I think we can imagine beyond the system as it has been.
Thank you. Judge Darrisaw, my question is, what educational preparation or classes would you recommend to someone who wants to enter your field?
Well, the first field is law, and I would say that anything that you are interested in, that you will do well in terms of your undergraduate degree. So here's the thing. In my law school class, it was a very diverse class. We had someone who had a major in culinary arts. We've had a lot of English majors. You'll hear a lot of English majors, political science majors. Those fields are helpful because in law school, you do a lot of reading and you do a great deal of writing. So anything that would support that would be helpful. But I would encourage you to go into a field that you find of interest, because the law is such a wide open area that you can have any sort of undergraduate major, just do well, and then get into law school. I hope that helped answer your question.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Robinson, I have another question. What are some skills that are mandatory to have when practicing your job or practicing law? We can't hear you, Ms. Robinson.
Lord, this technology, it be getting the best of me some days. So one of my favorite equations in the whole world, as lawyers, we aren't big on math, but one of my favorite equations is, can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
We good? Okay. It's discipline plus strategy equals results. And law, that's what law school taught me. It taught me that it's not always about being the smartest person. Because, you know, I have some future lawyers, they'll come to me and say, well, I don't feel like I'm that smart. And I'm like, well, are you disciplined? Do you work hard? Do you, you know, get the job done even when you don't feel like doing it? You know, because at the end of the day, you know, that's what counts. You know, as lawyers, a lot of times we have to do a lot of things, even if we don't feel like doing a 50-page brief or read this that's 20 pages or whatever, or write this memo about these crazy clients that's getting on, you know, whatever it may be. And a lot of times it's really just the grit. It's the perseverance that's really needed, especially like when you're studying for the bar exam and you're, you know, a law student or studying for the law school admissions test. Is not necessarily the content, but it's that will to get it done, no matter, you know, what's going on in your life.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. My next question is for Ms. Make sure I say your name correctly, Ms. Williams. My question is, what do you find most challenging about your job?
Probably for me, controlling my facial expressions, because I am definitely somebody that is very expressive. And I am a trial attorney. I'm in the courtroom. Haven't been in the courtroom very much due to COVID, but under normal circumstances, I'm in the courtroom. And exactly how I feel is what's going to show up on my face. And even after several years of practicing law and working on it, I've not quite mastered the art of a poker face. And as an attorney, that's something that you would probably want more of.
Thank you. And my facial expressions sometimes get the best of me too, even when I try to hide it. My next question is for Ms. Anderson. And why do you believe people leave this field?
You mean the legal field?
Yes, ma'am.
That's a tough one. Well, after working in this field for so long, working with different lawyers and different, you know, probation officers, there's many areas of law. You know, I had criminal justice, you can become probation officers, and of course, you know, a lot of them going to be lawyers. But I think a lot of people just get worn out. It just wears them completely out, you know, because I work with, you know, the district attorneys, the judges, and I've just had conversations, and I think the main thing, they just get worn out with it, you know. I think some of their clients just completely wear them out. They're like, you know, I just can't do this anymore. I've had enough of this. But I think if you get into something that you really enjoy, and especially for lawyers, I think they hang in there for the long haul. And I love my job because I've had the opportunity to work with many judges and many lawyers, and I've had many conversations at many times. And some of the conversations, they just get worn out. They just get tired of it. They want to do something different. You know, I had lawyers come in my office and say, well, you know, Gloria, I'm giving this up. I'm just tired of this. And I'm like, why? I've just had enough of it. And I think they just get worn out. And I think when you get to that point, you either need to seek other avenues or just kind of back off a little bit, because it can cause some serious mental issues for someone that's not as strong. But we've got a panel of strong lawyers here from what I'm hearing, because I work with Judge Darisaw, Nicole, and I know their personality, and there's some strong women. I don't know the other young lady, but I think she's good at what she does, you know, after listening to her testimony.
Yes, ma'am. And reading you all's bios and things you have done, you are definitely strong individuals in your field.
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
My last question is to Mr. Maroof, and my question is, how long does it take for senior officials to get to that place of being high up in the ranks?
Well, before I answer that question, if I may jump in right quick with your last question today, last speaker. And your question was why people quit the profession. If I had you right, I don't think people.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't think people quit. I think what they do is kind of like the judge said, the law is so vast that you could go to different areas of law. So oftentimes you see people moving from one area to the other. I've seen somebody who was a criminal defense attorney, in private practice, taking employment with a public defender office in my circuit. So and I've also encountered somebody who works in a big law firm making 6 figures, and he just got burned out, and he just bailed out of that. Now he's a professor in a college. So people kind of they change the areas of their practice. Now coming to the question for me, what was the question again, please? I can't hear you, sir.
Sorry, now my mic has been muted and I did not mute it. My question is, how long does it take for senior officials to rise to the top?
Well, as far as the district attorney's office is concerned, this is what I would say. The only senior official that has the potential to rise is somebody who wants to be the district attorney, and that's an elective position. You have to contest, run, and if you win, then lucky you. But other than that, then you have chief assistant district attorney, and technically it's just a big name. You are an assistant district attorney, just like some other assistant district attorneys, although there may be some little stipend that goes with that title. But they talking about rising in the state of Georgia, with the prosecuting attorney council of Georgia. What I can say is that you don't really rise as in being given a title or something like that, but the longer you work in the field, in your office, the higher your pay gets. You get pay increase, I think every year, but we didn't get no increment this year because of COVID-19. So I would say that rising means getting more pay the longer you stay on the job. So that would be my response.
Thank you, and thank you to all our panel guests for this insight to the criminal and legal field. And so now I'm going to turn it over back to Mr. Simmons.
All right, thank you all. Thank you, Shamar, so much. Y'all give it up for Shamar. Listen, this is my right hand. I want to ask a question for all of you. Black History Month. We've talked a lot with college presidents and vice presidents from HBCUs from across the country, from the president of FAMU to vice president last night at Bethune-Cookman College. One thing that I keep hearing so much from generation to generation is how to build on the legacy that has already been paved and provided. And so I'm looking here today and I'm seeing a childhood friend of mine, Mr. Pratt, and I'm looking at Miss Jazz, and then I'm looking back at you all, Judge Darasaw, and Miss Gloria, and Miss Nicole, and I'm looking, and I just want to talk for a few seconds. I just got a text message from the Boys and Girls Club of Las Vegas, Nevada, who's tuned in watching. So special shout out to you all. But I want to pause for a moment and just ask you all a question. We can go around the room individually. How do you think we can continue to build on the legacy of Dr. Judge Darasaw? And how can future generations build from what you all have paved as a foundation and continue to use it as a stepping ladder for generations to come, even down to Jazz and Pratt. How can we build from that? So whichever the seasoned vets want to take on the charge first, how can we continue to build?
Well, I'll start off. Not that I'm a seasoned vet, but I like to think of myself as seasoned. Um, I will say this. I think it's what it's doing the kinds of things that we are doing now. I think that a Black History Month or knowing your history is critical because of people who doesn't know their history, it's like they have to start all over again. They're doomed to repeat it. So when you know the history of a thing, then you don't have, you've been there, done that. You don't have to keep, hoeing over that ground or going back over that ground. You can make new ground. And I think that the Boys and Girls Clubs, programs like that give people the incentive and the encouragement, because people need a vision. Where there is no vision, the people perish. And so there are some people who think they can do this, but they don't even, it's not in their mind to try to do it. And so when you have programs and people who are interested in reaching back to the community to let them know that, listen, you can do this. I have done this. A lot of people have done this. And if they can do it, you can too. Doesn't matter who your mom or who your dad was, where you come from, where you live right now, because where you start is not where you have to end. You're only limited by the vision that you have for yourself. So I think you're doing it. I think we're making those strides. Go ahead. Somebody else pick it up.
Yeah, so I wanna continue that thought, because that's definitely the direction I was gonna head in. So as an attorney and law school coach, I come across future lawyers all the time who want to go to law school. They aspire to contribute to the Black Lives Matter movement. They aspire to help people that are, mass incarcerated, that look like us. They have all these aspirations, but the main problem that I'm having starts at home. And it's the parents, it's the aunties, it's the uncles who are saying law school is too expensive. Law school, no, you can't do that. That's too hard, or this or that and the third. So I think we have to, in order to increase this 5%, we have to make sure we're speaking life, and to our future lawyers. Just because you didn't think you could go to law school, just because you didn't think you could pay for law school, doesn't mean these babies can't go to law school. And I understand law school is expensive, but, I've created plenty of solutions to increase the 5% of lawyers that are Black. My future lawyers are getting, full tuition scholarships. You get that law school admissions test score, you write a good personal statement, you have a good GPA from undergrad or what have you, and I'm literally having scholarship acceptance letters of, $40,000, $60,000 a year, and these dreams are possible. So, I think one is just recognizing that we need more Black lawyers. We could just stop and think for a second. If every Black family in the United States of America, we're talking about history, Black History Month, if every Black family in the United States of America had that family lawyer to turn to, how would that change our justice system, right? Monumental changes, no more bogus plea bargains, so many, no more bogus custody decisions. Just so many ways this could impact us, right? But it all starts at home when that baby comes home and says, I want to be a lawyer. What is the family's response to that?
And I'll just add, just to build off of those wonderful points, is just simply, I would say, look back, look forward, and look around. Look back and see the legacy that you're building on. Folks like Judge Darrisaw, your HBCUs, which have a rich legacy of great lawyers and criminal justice experts and philosophers. Look at that legacy and see what you're building upon. Look forward to the future generation. Like, build on the folks younger than you, like these engagements like this. I actually teach Judge Darrisaw's son, so there's a intergenerational kind of overlap there. And I say, look around at your community. Look at the situations that you're in. Look what can be improved right where you are, right? I went away to Morehouse, and then I went out to California for graduate school. but I was always interested in what was going on in my hometown of Albany, what was going on with crime and violence. And that's what's been driving me and drive so many others. So look forward, look back, and look around. And that's how you build an impact and create something that's a legacy for yourself and everybody else in the Black community.
And who wants to chime in from there?
I will.
Oh, well, you go ahead, Gloria, and I'll take it.
Yeah, I just want to share this briefly. I agree with everything that has been said, but my main thing is that you have to stay focused. You have to have the right attitude because, you know, we look at, and I come from a large family, and I was the first one of my mama children to ever graduate from high school. So I was an inspiration to my family. I never wanted to be a lawyer. I never thought I'd be working in the legal field, but it didn't change my attitude because I had sisters and brothers before me that just didn't go for it. What it did was it made me to go forward, want to push forward because I wanted to be better and I wanted to do better for myself. And Jasmine, I have a young man that I'm talking to right now. He's wanting to go to law school. He and I talked about an hour Saturday, and my heart goes out to him. He's working here in Albany. I'm not going to call his name. He's working here, and he's trying to get into law school. He's very smart. He graduated from Georgia State, and my heart is going out to him. He really wants to be a lawyer, and I feel like he can because he's a smart guy. We have to keep the right attitude and realize that I can do this. No matter what your parents, if your parents, your mom and dad didn't graduate from high school, that doesn't mean you can't. You got to have the right attitude and you got to stay focused. So I tell young people, never let anybody tell you what you cannot do. I tell my daughter all the time, you can be what you want to be, how much you want to be, and how large you want to be. All you got to do is keep the right attitude. I didn't do a lot of things I wanted to do in life. But listen, I'm not in a bad shape right now because I've come in contact with some real awesome people. I have worked for some of the finest judges. I'm working for one of the finest judges. So I feel very special to be among this panel with you all because you all are special. You guys are lawyers, professors. You know, here I am, a courtroom deputy. But hey, that doesn't make me down here. I'm right here because of my attitude, and we have got to stay focused no matter what you do. You look at those that had come before us. You know, you think about Martin Luther King. We always talk about, I had a dream. Okay, do you believe what he said? Do you have a dream? Take your dream and bring it and help it to come to fruition. So you can do whatever you want to if you stay focused with the right attitude. Thank you.
I feel like she done took us there.
She did. And I will say I completely agree with you, Gloria. And one of the things that has helped me, and I feel like it will help others, is actually finding somebody that you feel like you can relate to. I never met Shirley Chisholm, but I just kind of feel like that's like somebody I can really relate to. And I just love the idea of unbought and unbossed because I think that's kind of my my motto anyway. I really love having autonomy. That's one of the reasons I'm an attorney. But I think we need to work with our children and ask them, where do you envision yourself? Looking at history and looking around, what individual motivates you, or do you see a kindred spirit with? Because yes, there's always Martin Luther King, but then there are so many other people in history that our children look at and emulate and move forward with.
That's good. That's good. And I see Mr. Morpheus reconnecting. Did you want to buy in on this?
I'm sorry, I'm having issue with my internet, but can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So yeah. So what I would say is, in order to build on the legacy of our fathers gone by, that that we take education very seriously. When you're educated, you are wholly and fully liberated. And why some people may not like you.
All right, we're gonna give him a moment to reconnect. But I do want to throw this out here. As we're sharing and speaking in this platform here, I want to ask for each of you to just take a moment and really ponder on words of advice that this generation here could really chew on. When I was growing up, we had a principal at Westtown by the name of Auxibian Shorter. And Auxibian Shorter would stand every morning and she would always say that the bottom line is for the day, you're going to be great. Even when I got to middle school, Dr. Johnny Scott would always tell me, he said, Simmons, you can be anything you want to be, and I'm here to support you to get it, to make it happen. And so here at the Boys and Girls Club, we stand on the shoulders of so many great people in mentoring and partnership, and events like this in the virtual space really creates an opportunity to impart so much into our young people. There are 3 E's that we go by here at the Boys and Girls Club: education, exposure, and equipping our people. With exposure being the greatest one of them all, because in a regular setting, we may see you all in passing at Walmart or the mall, but really hearing how you got to where you are and hearing your story really exposes our teens to say, hey, Judge Darisaw has a similar story like mine. Mr. Pratt has a similar experience. He's here from Albany. So it is possible for somebody from Albany to grow up here and to go off to school, to travel to California and to come back. So just think for a moment, what advice could you share to young people that are watching this video, and those that may even come back later on and even tomorrow and pick up jewels from this conversation?
Well, I will start off and I would say to them that it is rare that a person's life is a straight line. The life is filled with ups, downs, some way down. And so that don't be discouraged by the to and the fro and the left and the right, because that is life. But life will give you exactly what you ask of it. That means if you're willing to have the vision, write it down, make a plan for yourself. I don't believe this. They say that young people only plan to the weekend. I don't believe that. I believe that there are people who they look around them and they don't like what they see. They want to change it, and they know that there can be a change. Everybody is not living a certain way, and I can have the life that I want to have, but I'm going to write it down. I'm going to make a plan for how I'm going to accomplish it. And if you stay determined, I promise you there are people out there just in your weakest moment who are there to step in and say, hey, I got an idea for you. Sometimes that person is your teacher. For me, it was a teacher who said, I see something in you that deserves to be a light, that deserves to be encouraged. Sometimes it doesn't come from the house. Sometimes it's your grandmother. Sometimes it's an aunt. Sometimes it's a neighbor. But I promise you, in every person's life, there's someone who has something good, some encouraging word to give you. Hold on to that person. Latch on to that person. And then use that, plant a seed, water it, and let it grow, because you can be successful. Every child can learn. Every child can be. Everybody don't want to be a lawyer. Everybody doesn't want to be this. But whatever it is you want to be, you can be that. You can be more than that. Go ahead. I'll give it to someone else.
I guess I will piggyback off of what you just said. And one of the things that stays with me. Believe it or not, I like Shakespeare a lot. And I will say, to thine own self be true. And I say that because as a teenager, a young adult, and even now at my age, there are going to be so many outside forces that are pulling on you. But in order for you to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish in life, you have to remember who you are. And you have to hold on to your values and not let anybody else sway you. You just have to be true to yourself. So I would put that out there.
I would add to this and say that, especially to the young girls who are, listening to this right now, or maybe listening tomorrow or whatever, one wrong decision I could have made, and I could have been, I could have literally been pregnant with babies from here to there, working at Burger King. I'm not that different from y'all. I'm just blessed to have, the mistakes I've made in my life have not prevented me from being the attorney, the law school coach that I am today. And I'm just thankful that what I did and what I didn't decide to do when I was younger hasn't prevented me from being who I am today. Understanding that there's always going to be that inner voice inside of you that's pulling on you and telling you what you should and shouldn't be doing. And if you just tune in and listen to it, I can assure you that, if you listen deep inside, you will end up exactly where you are supposed to be. But even when you make those mistakes, because listen, I've made plenty, and being a young attorney is not always easy. But the point being is that, I'm blessed to have made it to where I am, and I'm blessed to be a resource for all of y'all. Wherever you are in life right now, I started with my law school admissions test score was like a 144, which is very low in comparison.
I believe we can hop to the next person.
I'll jump in. That's okay. I would say be courageous and be dynamic, and be flexible and willing to change and grow and develop with life. But you got to be courageous as well, and know what guides you. Think about what's your ethics, what's going to guide you. For me personally, is love. I want to love what I do. I want to, and love drives me to explore deeper, ask these questions, come back to my community. Also, in action, be compassionate. And so applying that love, embracing people, embracing others unlike you so you can better understand experiences, which leads to my final thing, which is mutual understanding. I want to be understood, but I also want to be sure that I understand everybody else. So love, compassion, and mutual understanding, and being sure that you're being courageous and dynamic throughout your life, because there's so many experiences to have, so many things to do, so much to see in this life and in this world. And there's so much that we can transform when we do it together. So that's my advice. And I think we have so much, again, imagination that's so ready to pop out, especially after we wrap up COVID.
And who is next? Whichever one want to jump in next.
I guess I will briefly. I promise I won't preach this time.
No, you're good.
I just want to say, just listening to everyone, which I totally agree with. But my main thing, the main advice I would give is find you a good connection. And what I mean by that, when you're not connected to the right source, you're going to have some serious problems. You can't connect to anything and expect to work efficiently. So I would tell any young person, find you a good connection. As Judge Jericho said, one of her teachers or professors or whomever, find someone that you can connect to that's going to help you, going to push you. And then let's stop judging our young people. If you see a young man walking down the street with his pants off, don't start turning your nose up. Watch your facial expressions. Just tell him hello. How you doing today? That might make him pull his pants up. So let's be careful about, my advice would be, get the right connection, because one thing I learned to say, life is going to throw you a lemon. You take that lemon and you make lemonade. You can do that. You take all the negative and you can put all that together and make something positive. I did, because I've been in some situations that will blow your mind. But guess what? I'm still standing, I'm still living, and I'm still breathing, and I'm still focused because I stayed in the right connection with the right people. I don't connect to anything, because if you connect to anything, you're not going to work properly. Thank you.
And we might as well just pass a basket round right now to pay for my new speeding ticket.
Listen, what book would you want to read a book that was just all the same? You're writing the book of your life. It's got drama. It's got thrillers. It's got suspense. It's got all those things. So you just take it all as it comes and you make it work for you.
Right.
You don't have someone that you can turn to that say, I really don't have anybody that I think I can ask advice for. Then you need to open your eyes a little wider, because I'm sure there's someone that you can come across that will say, that has some good words for you to support you and encourage you. So you need to look a little while, and don't look in the typical places, because great advice, some of the best advice I got was not from some brilliant professor, but it was from someone who had a 6th grade education. Do right by people. It doesn't take brilliance to say the truths of life. The truths are evident to all, hopefully. Anyway, I'm going to let you all talk, but I love this. This is great. I'm encouraged. You've encouraged me.
Well, my advice to the youth is that they should choose their friends, hang out with people who would add value, and not those who will drag you down. And secondly, believe in yourself, and believe that Almighty God has created each and every one of us to be great in life, and He has given us the choice, whether we want to be great or we want to go down the wrong path. So make good use of your judgment and do what is right. And once again, I can't stress this enough. Education will get you beyond, I'll say, the sky. Your enemy may not love you, but if you're well educated enough, your enemy will respect you. And give somebody an education, you give the person life. So if I can do it, I was born and raised in Nigeria, and I was an attorney in Nigeria before I came to the United States, and I didn't get deterred. I wasn't so young when I came here, but I determined I wanted to make something of my life. If I could do it in Nigeria, I could do it in the United States. And if I could do it in the United States, you who are born here, bred here, can do it 10 folds, 10 times in 10 folds. I mean.
Wow. And listening to each one of you share this advice, really, I want our listeners, I want our teens to know that are tuned in and listening, how vital it is for you to connect with somebody that really has your best interests at heart. And you have so many people that are willing to pour into you. And so don't feel it as if that you're walking this life by yourself. And so seeing the diversity of this panel, seeing the diversity of people that are here today and sharing, you all are living witness that you can literally go from anywhere and become anything that you set your mind and heart to be on. I always tell the teens around here there are three things, three majors, three roles and professions that really requires a whole lot of work, and that's the role that you all have as law and law and legal professions, in the medical field, and then I say truck driving because you're on the road. You got to know which highways. You got to be able to read maps. You got to be able to understand. Hey, when you're pulling into a gas station, are you getting your best dime for your buck on mileage? And so you got to understand what laws are really being put into place, how state laws and federal laws and local laws are working in your favor or against you. All of these things keeps you abreast of your role and your duties. And so tonight, you all really have opened up a dialogue that I believe have to continue happening with our young people and across the state and across the nation. And so I personally would ask, hey, is there any final deep-seated anxieties or things that you all would like to share before we conclude our segment for today?
I'll just say something real quick. I would say stay inquisitive. Keep asking questions, right? Keep exploring about yourself, about your family, about where you come from and what you can be, because we get so much inspiration from, again, looking behind us, looking around us, and looking forward. So stay inquisitive. Keep asking those hard questions, even when folks shut the door. Ask those hard questions so you can discover those tough answers or make them yourself.
Good advice. Good advice. And Attorney Jazz, I see you just hopped back on. I have three young ladies that have texted me. They are all at work right now, and I can't even say where they're working at because their manager might be watching this later on. But they all want to have a girls' talk with you.
Yes.
And so I will be reaching back out to you to set that up. They are all high school students.
Yes.
Three of them are seniors, and so they are just at that pivotal point where they want to know how to really balance where you're trying to go after high school.
Please reach out to me, and
I will.
I would even add, I'm all over social media, so they can reach out to me directly. My Instagram is at Jazz Talks Law, JASTALKS Law, LAW. Happy to mentor, happy to keep them on their toes and tell them to put them books for them boys and this, like happy to do whatever I can because I've literally been in their shoes. I was all popular, cheerleader, this, that. And, I done did and seen it all. And just by the grace of God, my praying mama, she got me on to college at Hampton University, the best HBCU ever. And, I made it to law school and all that. And I want to see.
Hey, we're certainly going to do that. They're going to hold me to it, too. So, real quick, before we end for tonight, how many different HBCUs do we have on tonight? Anybody else went to a HBCU?
Spelman College. I beg to differ. That might be the best HBCU ever. That's my only disagreement with you tonight, Ms. Jazz.
Well, I'll say that Morehouse College, where I went, is the best school for the education of Black men in the whole wide world. So I went there, and I teach at the unthinkable Albany State University.
Well, I went to the University of Georgia, so I'm not an HBCU, but I will give a shout out to Charlene Hunter Galt, the first Black woman to graduate from the University of Georgia.
And of course, I'll shout out Hampton again, and I will also shout out my sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, or for my future sorors on the call.
What do we have to say, Judge Jaroslav?
DSP. That's the only way to be.
DST.
That's all right.
And Mr. Pratt, which way should the fellas look?
To the sky, to the old black and gold. You better know it. A5A.
Hey, well, listen, I am so excited for this opportunity to connect with you all tonight. Tonight's segment actually culminates our Black History Month long of events that we've done here at our Boys and Girls Club of Albany. You all have really sparked the ongoing conversation that our teams will have in the future. And so I'm so excited to see what comes out of this conversation. This won't be the last time that you all share with our wonderful teams. And we look forward to it. And to all of our listeners and viewers today, hey, continue to share this broadcast with people and continue to encourage our young people to soar to become more than what they are and let them realize their true potential inside. And so, as we continue to culminate and share these Career and Will segment, be inspired by the words that comes from various speakers that may appear on our platform. And so tonight we end by saying, hey, thank you so much for joining us. And we hope that you all tune back into another broadcast next week on our Career on Wheels. And to all of our panel guests, thank you so much. And we will see you all later, viewers.